The biggest question surrounding that day is who was responsible for the attacks, and was it really the 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists that the media portrayed after 9/11? Let's look at some of the theories surrounding the thought that the people that were said to be responsible were not. For starters, 4 passports were found in total belonging to the supposed terrorists involved. 2 were found at the Pennsylvania crash site of Flight 93. One was found in the luggage of a terrorist that did not make it onto the plane and was stuck on a conveyor belt in the airport. And one was handed to an FBI agent shortly after the first plane hit the North Tower, that was found on the ground completely undamaged not far from the World Trade Center. This is the one the skeptics point to, saying it seems hard to believe a paper passport could survive such a crash, when 2 110-story steel-frame buildings couldn't. Although this cannot be used as evidence of a cover-up, as it's not totally impossible for it to have been blown out of the plane as it hit the towers. It has, however, raised some serious questions that haven't been answered. But why would a passport be planted there? The theory is that the terrorists were framed and were hired and set up by the US government and are still alive. This was strengthened when Mohammed Atta's father said he spoke to his son the day after the attack and said he was fine. It sounds insane, but his father was also interviewed and stated his son's passport was stolen and he is either hiding or been kidnapped by the FBI. He goes on to say his son hated Osama bin Laden and would never take part in the terrorist act. A man who also knew him and lived next to his family's home in Egypt said he did not believe Atta was responsible. Either they're in complete denial or they are both telling the truth. As a matter of fact, every single person who is thought to have been responsible have apparently come forward to say they were framed. Although, since we have no interviews or official statements of this, we can only speculate. Another thing people say raises suspicion is that despite questioning, it doesn't seem any information has been released, such as the section of their boarding pass that would have been torn off at the airport, or credible CCTV footage supporting the theory that the hijackers didn't even board the planes. Now you could say, why should the FBI release this information, and they probably shouldn't, but when there's such a huge amount of doubt about 9/11, you would think they would to prove people wrong. Yet despite many asking for evidence, nothing credible has been given. Does this prove the terrorists were framed and are hiding or being kidnapped? Absolutely not, but it's things like this the skeptics point to when saying we haven't been told the full story.